something.
So speaking of cops,
Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite was in the CIA.
He was the best CIA agent the CIA ever had.
In the CIA.
In the CIA.
Yeah.
You jive turkeys.
Don't call our listeners jive turkeys. They'll stop listening to
You
us.
drive turkeys!
I don't know if any of our listeners will completely understand what it means to be a jive turkey.
I mean, I don't even really understand what it means to be a jive turkey.
I was watching something not too long ago. I don't remember what it was, but somebody called somebody else a jive turkey. And they got so upset. They're like, "You call me a jive turkey?"
Can we go on Urban Dictionary and look that up?
Yeah.
Jive turkey.
I'm like, "You called me a jive turkey." I don't.
Urban Dictionary.
That was uncalled for. I think it was Anchorman. It's like, it was uncalled for. You didn't need to call me a jive turkey.
One who speaks as though they know what they're talking about, though they do not. Or B, a bullshitter. So pretty much, it's a pretentious asshole.
Or the other one says someone who lies all the time.
This Coke carries zero, man. It just it's worse than vodka. It hits you right here, and then it hits you right here, barf, and then it gives you a little Richard. For those of you who have not watched Black Dynamite, that's one of the jokes. That's like the plot of that whole movie. Is Little Richard,
which you don't really find out until like the last 15 minutes.
And that scene
like
made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
No, the scene was definitely like Batman, 60s Batman, solving the riddles.
Adam West Batman.
Adam West Batman. They were all like, "So, what's the biggest snake? An anaconda. Anaconda malt liquor."
What's the slogan? Anaconda malt liquor. It gives you woo. And what else gives you woo? Little Richard. And what's another name for Richard? Dick. Anaconda malt liquor gives you a little dick. And that's the movie.
And the rest of the movie is Black Dynamite. He's like a 70s kung fu ninja master
from the CIA. Who was in Vietnam. Who can fuck 5 women at one time.
At one time. And
shh, quiet, pretty mom.
His brother was killed, and he was like trying to get vengeance for his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. This aunt called him, and she's all like, "Black Dynamite, Jimmy's dead. He was caught with drugs on him. You promised your mama on her deathbed that you would get Jimmy off of that smack."
Did you see the flashback after that part that he had?
No.
It's like a younger Black Dynamite talking to his mom on her deathbed, and she's like, "You have to promise me, Black Dynamite, on my deathbed, that you will get Jimmy off of smack." And then she dies, and then it shows Black Dynamite with his younger brother when they're both younger. He's like, "I'm 16-year-old Black Dynamite, and you're my 14-year-old brother Jimmy. You gotta get off that smack." And that was...
This movie was pretty awesome.
Yeah. It is a blaxposition?
Blaxploitation.
Blaxploitation film.
Yep.
Yeah. Very reminiscent of 70s blaxploitation movies.
Yeah, it's very Shaft or Dolomite-ish, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Shaft. I was only talking about Shaft, baby.
Every time he walks in a room, you hear like a chorus of ladies going,
"Dynamite!" Man, who is knocking on my door when I'm trying to get a piece of dynamite? Main man, Black Dynamite.
Oh my goodness. So some other things that we noticed while watching the movie is that they would reuse old footage from earlier in the movie.
The exploding car.
Yeah, the exploding car. A car drives off a cliff at one point, and then, and it explodes and falls down the edge of the cliff. And then later on, Black Dynamite drops a car from a helicopter, and then they just reuse the same footage of the car exploding and falling down the thing. And then at another point, like really early on, there's a part where he's talking to some girl in his office, and the boom mic is definitely in frame, a lot, and he's looking at it like, why are you in my space? Boom, Mike, get out of here.
Also, he throws a couple of guys through a window.
And then it pans into the room and there are no windows.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no windows, and those guys are still in the room.
So I'm going to say that this movie definitely pays off a lot more for people who pay attention.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or the scene where Bullhorn gets into a fight with the one guy and he accidentally like slaps him in real life. And the actor's like, damn, motherfucker, and it cuts away and then it shows him fighting a guy again. And it's a completely different guy.
Dressed up the same.
He slapped him. And the guy got so mad he just walked off set, so they had to find somebody else.
Oh my goodness. There's a guy in it who's reading the actions off the script as part of his lines. So he's like, I walk over to Black Dynamite and say, damn it, Dynamite.
Black Dynamite goes into their like resistance office. He's like, who's in charge here? The guy's like, sarcastically, I'm in charge. And then you like, when he first walked into the room, he's like, where's your leader? He's like, turns around startled. And he turns around. Oh my gosh. It's just so funny. God.
Oh my. So, welcome back to the bcast. Didn't say that before. But, I'm Malaria.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jake, again.
Jake from episode 4 has returned.
Yeah.
For episode 12.
Woohoo.
With a vengeance. Be careful.
Jake with a vengeance. He's gonna fight Alan Rickman.
I was gonna go for more of a crab battle kind of battle. Broke my knife. Oh, God. Yeah. If you haven't picked up yet, we have just finished watching Black Dynamite.
Dynamite!
Fiendish Dr. Wu, your reign of kung fu treachery.
I think they did a really good job with this movie.
They did.
It came out in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely still feels like the 70s,
Yeah,
though.
they do a really good job of making the film really grainy and Technicolor.
And everybody has an afro.
Everybody has an afro.
It's like they had a really big budget, and they're like, we're gonna take all this money and we're gonna make the worst big budget shit movie ever.
Well,
and they did.
I noticed that all the black people were either pimps or hoes,
mm-hmm.
and all the white people were cops, and all the Asian people were shopkeepers or kung fu masters.
Yep.
So,
pretty much. I like how Black Dynamite's just on this kick about getting drugs off the street because his brother's killed.
Right.
So he goes into a room full of pimps.
and
he's all like, I'm getting the drugs off the street, just so you know. They're like, but we sell drugs. Like, well, you better not let me catch you.
I'm starting a war with everybody who sells drugs to the community. But Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community.
But like the whole time, it's like, this is a room full of pimps. In any capacity, he should probably be pissed. But, you know, like, I guess he's really connected to one of the whorehouses. So
at the beginning of the movie, he was a pimp himself.
Yeah. I don't know. It's silly.
For all of our older listeners, the person you might recognize from the cast is Arsenio Hall as Tasty Freeze.
Who was Tasty Freeze in the movie? Because I totally don't remember.
He was Arsenio Hall.
I know. No, I meant like in the movie because I don't remember who Tasty Freeze was.
He's one of the pimps.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think was he the main pimp?
I think he was the older pimp whose outfit I really liked.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about now.
So this entire movie was like the whole time I was thinking of, and this might out me a bit, but there's a movie made by the Insane Clown Posse called Big Money Hustlers.
I've heard of it. Never seen
It's very similar to this. It's like a 70s crime drama.
Is it really?
Nice.
It's like a gangster movie, yeah. And I can't think about like one of the characters has to rhyme at all times, and there's like a little theme song that plays every time they say his name.
Oh.
And but you know, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of differences, but yeah, it's definitely fun. Both of them, and the ICP one is still a good watch, even if you don't like ICP.
So, people who liked Black Dynamite liked all the Austin Powers movies. They also liked Nothing to Lose.
Shoot 'em up.
And Shoot 'em Up. And
Pineapple Express.
The Pineapple Express.
I liked Pineapple Express.
I can see Pineapple Express. I honestly don't get the Austin Power movies connection.
Probably
you
because
don't
they're kind
get
of
the
set,
Austin Powers movies
set in
connection.
The 70s.
I don't know.
Or not really set in
I
the
think
70s,
the Austin
but
Power movies are shit anyways.
I like the first one a lot.
The first one's okay, but the second one was bad, and I won't even watch the third one.
Yeah, the third one's not that good. I didn't have to understand Chinese to know what he was saying to me.
Why Black Dynamite?
Why Black Dynamite?
Why?
He said something in Chinese. He's on like, some cartoon shit. I don't even know.
Later on, he speaks Chinese perfectly.
That was actually something that I didn't even pick up on the first time I watched the movie, because I was just in such awe of how ridiculous the whole thing was.
The movie was awesome. I give it a 10 on a B movie scale. Probably like an 8 on an A movie scale.
Black Dynamite, the B movie for A movie people.
So I gotta be honest, I didn't like it that much.
Really?
What?
It does kind of drag on at the end.
It's
because it starts off really funny and ridiculous, and then it stays ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like the ridiculousness just keeps piling on and piling on.
I mean,
until the levee breaks.
I want something a bit more like funny. Like everything that was funny was kind of subtle.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, but it didn't make me laugh that much. And that and blaxploitation is not really my favorite genre, but like, you know, it's I recognize that it's a decent movie. I think they did pretty good with it, but it's not something that I want to watch again, really.
So, did you watch anything else this week?
I really didn't. I was supposed to, well, I wasn't supposed to, but I was going to watch all kinds of movies, but instead I decided I was going to read my comics that have been piling up for a long time.
Woo-woo. I still have to read those comics you gave me.
The comic book I was reading is worth mentioning, though. It's a comic book series called Wormwood Gentleman Corpse.
Awesome.
And it's about, I'm not sure if they're in hell or just on Earth or something, but
they're in a place.
It's basically like kind of a detective book, where the detective is a strange alien or demon worm that can control corpses.
Interesting.
So this worm like goes through the eye of a dead body, and he controls the whole body, and that's just who he is. And then they fight like strange monsters, and there's leprechauns, but the leprechauns are like feral, and
feral leprechauns.
Yeah, and then there's like
feral leprechauns.
Oh no!
Oh god, that would be worse.
And Colin Farrell leprechauns. That'd be even worse.
Colin Farrell's okay. He's in that new movie, Second Psychopaths.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be amazing. I really want to see it.
My roommates went to see that tonight.
No, Seven Psychopaths was okay. I wouldn't say that's amazing.
Oh, I thought it looked good.
I mean, it is a good movie, and it does have some pretty good laughs in it. I mean, Christopher Walken, how can you not laugh?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was alright. I probably wouldn't watch it again, but I would recommend it for a first time watch.
I plan on checking it out. I can see it going either way, because I think it's supposedly by the same people that made In Bruges, and I thought that movie looked amazing, but then I watched it and I could just never get into it. So I don't know. It could end up being really boring, but I'm still hoping it'll be good.
Yeah. There are some really cool movies coming out soon, though. Like, have you seen previews for Cloud Atlas?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
I saw a little bit.
It's by the same guy who directed the Matrix trilogy. and it deals with like, if I caught the gist of it correctly, it was something along the lines of like people living lives in different like time periods, and they're all connected. Like no matter what time period they're at or like how different they look or anything like that, these people are always connected. And it's really weird. You gotta watch the preview. It looks awesome. And fucking Django Unchained,
Django
Tarantino
Unchained.
movie.
I'm so excited about that one.
Man with the Iron Fist comes. Is that out yet? I know it's coming out soon.
Oh, that Wu-Tang like.
It's the other Tarantino movie, yeah. Because he's coming out with 2 new ones within like the next few months.
No, that one's just like, it's just the Wu-Tang Clan.
I thought that Tarantino was part of it.
They totally put his name on there. He does this all the time.
Oh, does he?
He might have given a little bit of money or like something, but mostly what he did is like, here, put my name on it. People will see it.
Huh?
It doesn't matter though. I saw that preview. It looks fucking amazing.
It does. I mean, it's got Lucy Liu. It has what's the guy in Gladiator? What's his name?
The Gladiator guy.
The Gladiator guy. What's his name?
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Russell Crowe. And some other people.
I just watched, and it was like this ridiculous kung fu movie. Mm-hmm. There's like a guy that turns into stone. There's, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I did watch this week was the Evil Dead remake trailer, and I'm really excited to say.
Wait, they're making another Evil Dead?
Yes.
They're remaking it?
They have a remake.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
there's no Ash.
We talked about it a little bit last week on the podcast, but the trailer leaked from Comic-Con, and I'm very happy to say that the tree rape is still in there. I thought they were going to take it out.
Nice.
I've actually never seen the original Evil Dead movie.
Well,
I've seen the second one, kind of.
How's it still here? But I couldn't find it on the
And
report.
I've seen Army of Darkness, which was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I absolutely loved that movie.
Agreed. And you have seen Evil Dead 1 because the first 5 minutes of Evil Dead 2 is Evil Dead 1.
Evil Dead 2 is a remake of Evil Dead 1. Just slapped a 2 on it.
The only thing you're really missing is the tree rape scene. They didn't put the tree rape scene into the remake.
Is it just like a tree raping somebody? Or?
Yeah, it's funny because you can see like hands holding sticks and they're just like poking her.
Yeah, there's a woman that kind of gets pulled in by like these tree monsters, and like there's a little branch that just goes up her skirt a little bit. And so I didn't think they'd put it in the movie, but now I could be wrong, but I distinctly saw some kind of like branchy tentacles like crawling up this girl's leg in the preview. So I was like, "Ooh." I mean, other than that, it just looks like all the other remakes. They're trying to go for something like really gruesome and grisly and stuff, and it's going to lose its campy charm, I think.
I mean,
and it might be good. I like most of the remakes. I just don't like them as like the remake of Friday the 13th. They wouldn't make 9 sequels off of that like they did the old one.
I recently watched Cold Fish. That was pretty neat.
Cold Fish?
Yeah, Cold Fish. It's a Japanese kind of horror comedy thriller drama.
Like Serial Mom? Set in Japan?
Kind of. Except it's about this fish salesman who's not doing so well, and then some other fish salesman comes along and says, "Hey, you gotta do all these things for me or I'm gonna kill your family."
Wow,
and then people die. There's blood. It's a Japanese horror movie. Blood is everywhere. It's based on a true story.
Okay.
It was very entertaining the whole 2.5 hours, but it didn't need to be that long.
That's pretty long. I'll tell you what movie I tried to see this week but failed. There's a movie out in theaters and on video demand right now called VHS. So I really wanted to see it. They had it at the Keystone Art midnight thing, but I already missed it by the time I knew about it. So that's
you should get a VHS of it.
That would be amazing.
So funny.
It's not out yet for
the VHS
DVD or anything like that.
You should get it on Betamax.
Video disc.
No, see, the reason I didn't watch it is because it's in theaters, but it's not in one around here. You can get it on video on demand, but you have to rent it for like $7 a night.
No, that's ridiculous.
And I'm like, I refuse to do that. Like, I
It'll
can
be
go
on
down
Netflix
to the
next week. Don't worry.
I can go down to the Red Box and get a movie for $1 a night. They're like if I could have bought it on video on demand, I might have. I'd pay $10 for that, but I'm not going to pay $7 to rent a digital
Amazon.
movie. It's not out yet.
Oh.
No, you can rent it on Amazon for $7. I just don't get
that.
it. Like, everybody loves the whole digital thing, and I'm like, screw that. All right, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, but who the fuck wants a digital movie? I don't get it. You can buy a DVD now for like $5, and it's still not that bad of quality. I mean, it's not Blu-ray, but it's still pretty damn good. And it's got extra features. There's a commentary track, blah, 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 blah.
I like
the
DVDs.
Yeah, the thing about digital copies is that it's really easy to access it via different means of,
devices.
Different devices. You know what I'm talking about.
You know what?
I'm turning into a jive turkey.
You know what's really interesting, and I was going on the TMC.com shop, and I was just searching through scary movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Hitchcock's The Birds, just the DVD, is like $14. But if you buy the 50th anniversary DVD that also comes with the digital copy, it's only $12.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No, people...
Do you know that digital copies can expire?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not like the actual digital copy, but like if you were to buy a Blu-ray or something and it comes included with the digital copy, the voucher for the digital copy can expire. I found that out when I bought Zombieland. I bought it for Blu-ray and it came with a digital copy. And I looked at the voucher and the voucher expired in like February of last year, and I had bought it in like June of last year. I bought it over the summer, I remember that. And I was like, well, that's stupid. Why would you advertise having a digital copy if it expires and I can't have a digital copy? So now I don't have a digital copy, but it doesn't matter because I wouldn't really use it anyways. But back to what I was saying about the digital copy, it's definitely about using it on multiple devices, because people will be like, oh, well, I want to watch a movie on my iPad, and my iPad doesn't have a disk drive, and I don't want to buy the $1,000 attachment.
Right, well, see, here's what I'm going to say on this. I think that people wanting to experience their content on different devices is, well, it's stupid. We should roll up a newspaper and smack them on the nose.
But at the same time, you have to consider that like people are going everywhere, and with all these devices, are like just.
Well,
you do anything.
Honestly, I do not want to watch a movie on my phone.
Right, and I wouldn't want to either, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you're saying too. But there are people out there, like businessmen and people who are always on the road, that are just like, I'm on a plane, I've got a few hours to kill. Why not watch a movie? I personally don't care about them, and I wouldn't really worry about it, but there are people out there that see the merit in them.
One of my big things about digital content anyways, is just that it's not easy to, like, I think a movie should be watched on a TV.
Alright, you jive turkeys.
We have been bullshitting this entire, episode.
Pretty much.
Because there's not a lot you can say about Black Dynamite that hasn't already been said.
No, we don't have to continue to talk about Black Dynamite.
I know. I was trying to go full circle back on the movie that we had just watched like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a terrible segue.
Terrible segue. Speaking of segues, we will not have Jeff's segue on this episode. No, he's not here.
Jeff's segue, was that introduced that was introduced on the audition episode?
Yeah, I was like, we have Jeff's segue. Please try to guess which part that is.
I can't even remember what he was talking. He was talking about Walking Dead.
Yeah, we were talking about something completely different. He's like, so Mal, have you caught up on Walking Dead? And I was like, yes, I have. And he's like, well, what do you think about this? And I'm like, stuff and things.
Yep. And you were talking about how you are doing what I'm doing, and you're watching each individual issue as they come out every month. Because the last one came out in September, this one came out.
Shoot, time goes by really fast.
I know, especially when you're working at a dead-end job.
Oh.
Yeah, you should smack a bitch. You should go Black Dynamite on him. Walk in the room, Mallory! Mallory!
Dynamite! Should walk in the room with some dynamite and be like, pay me more monies!
Black malaria.
That sounds awful.
You thought malaria was bad? Wait until you're exposed to black malaria. Give some small dicks. Oh man.
So you're like one of those sneaky black guys. How did you get in here? I walked in.
So you're one of them sneaky black men. Sarcastically, I'm in charge. Oh god. Speaking of Anaconda malt liquor giving you Little Richard, have I told you about the like made up Pabst Blue Ribbon commercial that's on YouTube?
No.
It's this commercial my roommate showed me, and it's just this guy, and he's drinking Pabst, and he's like really drunk. He's like, Pabst turns your dick to shit, and he like passes out, and then like some narrator comes on, and he's like, Pabst turned your dick to shit.
So Ren and Stimpy was really creepy.
Dude,
I loved it growing up,
Stimpy.
and I still love it, but like if you go back and watch it, those episodes are
they're if you watch a lot of cartoons
They've got,
from back then,
like Ren and Stimpy that were banned, which I've seen, and they are awful. It's all like
very cryptic.
No, it's not even cryptic. It's like blatantly right in your face, like very like overly sexual and overly like down towards women. And
are you talking about the new series they made?
Yes.
That's not like banned stuff though. Like I think that's just different.
That was just stuff that they wrote for Spike TV, I thought.
Yeah, they changed the show.
It wasn't even that good, was it?
I didn't like it that much.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people complained about it. I never saw the new series, so I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix.
It is.
Is it the new series or the old series? Or
Both.
Oh god, I need to start watching.
You know, I need to track down though. My favorite episode of Ren and Stimpy was with the Bloody Head Fairy.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember the Bloody Head Fairy.
Oh man.
I remember the electric fence game. That was one of my favorites.
That was a good episode too.
Don't whiz on
the electric fence.
That was
the Space Oddity one.
Yes.
Where he was
with
like
the
eating
big red button.
and he was eating the bar of soap. Yeah, that was a good one. Space madness.
Oh, see, those shows got so dark and crazy. I
know.
I liked the one with the Yaxmen.
Oh,
With the fighting Yaxmen or whatever.
yeah.
They're like stomp, stomp, stomp for justice and chop, chop, chop for freedom.
The soap scum fairy. You remember that one?
No, I don't.
Or it was like
remember
the sink scum fairy or something like that. Like all the, you know how like your sink gets a bunch of buildup around it from like toothpaste and makeup and shit like that.
Oh yeah, and they like
and
cleaned
he like
it out.
and he like clean it out with his finger and like stick it in his satchel or something like that, and he would leave money in there. Or a gritty kitty cat litter.
Oh yeah, and how hairballs would cure pink eye and everything else.
Yes.
That was pretty. And then his hairball gland died.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And they had to bury it.
Yep.
And Stimpy's like, I'm not a full cat anymore. Can't make hairballs.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That
man.
show was so awesome.
I liked how like every time they showed like a person, they would show their knees and they were all hairy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Oh, I liked when they were selling rubber nipples and like
Oh yeah.
like using them for everything except for what nipples are used for.
Yep.
They're like, you can use it to warm your head and to keep
they
your
used
knees
it
warm.
for hats and knee warmers. Didn't they use them for socks too or something?
Yeah, and socks.
They use them for gloves. They use them for everything. Except for nipples.
Oh man. Oh, what else? Stimpy.
I used to have a Sega game. It was like Stimpy's Great Invention or something like that.
I had that game.
It was. I beat it once. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
Dude, the Sega games were hard.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything in the old systems are hard, man. Games we have now are easy.
Dude, games we have now are fucking pathetic.
Dude, what was that thing that you were reading about games the other day, and you were like, this guy's wrong?
Oh, it was the fucking, it was like the global president of some game company. It wasn't EA.
I'll look it up here.
There it is. The recreating a Mission Impossible thing.
Oh, this?
Yeah, see more. Recreating a Mission Impossible experience in a game is easy. Recreating emotions in Brokeback Mountain is going to be tough, or at the very least sensitive in this country. It will be very hard to create very deep emotions like sadness or love, things that drive the movies, until games are photorealistic. It'll be very hard to open up to new games. We can only really focus on action and shooter titles. Those are suitable for consoles right now, which is a quote from Christopher Hartman, the 2K Games global president. And he's a fucking idiot for saying that.
Yeah, because games back in the day had at least some story, and
they didn't even have to have that.
I mean, like, they were really emotional, right? I mean, because you didn't have to have photorealistic characters to connect with the characters, which is why I cried when Aerith died in Final Fantasy VII.
I feel like that's the one that most people would relate to. But, like, have either of you played Super Metroid?
No.
Neither of you played Super Metroid?
it, but not...
Well, if you've played a Metroid game, you just... Like, the best part about that game is you feel alone.
Yeah.
Like, completely... They put you in this planet by yourself, and it's just filled with monsters and stuff like that, and you're exploring this huge planet, and stuff like that, and you have an actual sense of being alone and finding all this stuff on your own and stuff. I'll be honest, when I first played Super Metroid, it scared the shit out of me. Like, it was terrifying. There's a sequence, like the first part of the game, you don't come across any enemies until you are spotted by this camera thing, and like shines a light on you, and then you get in this elevator and you go up and you go in this other room, and then there are space pirates everywhere. And the first time it happened, I was like, oh my god! Like, it scared me. Another good example is, as it says right there, Chrono Trigger. You've played Chrono Trigger. Have you played Chrono Trigger?
I played Chrono Cross.
No. Well, in Chrono Trigger, spoiler alert, kids.
No spoilers, it's over 10 years old.
Yeah, that's true. In Chrono Trigger, there's a scene where the main character dies, and, you know, this is like a 16-bit Super Nintendo game that you get super attached to all the characters, and the main character in this game is a silent protagonist. Yeah, and like, I was devastated when he died. Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was going to happen next. I was just like, what? And the cool thing about it is, like, with a silent protagonist, a lot of games back then, and a good example of like Zelda or
Zelda,
Mega Man X, even though X wasn't really a silent protagonist, but the cool thing about stuff like that is that anything that happens in that game happens directly to you, because you are that person. Like, you make your decisions through that character. You know, he is your link into that world.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous to think that we as human beings can't connect with a character just because they're not photorealistic. I mean, why would you ever read a book?
Yep. Because
you don't see photorealistic characters in books.
Right.
You have whatever's in your head.
Even comics.
Even comics. They're not photorealistic, but
you still gain an emotional attachment through it.
Yeah. And even, like, the characters don't even have to be freaking people. I mean, look at, like, Watership Down and the Plague Dogs. Like, two of the most emotional stories ever.
Yeah. And
they're about rabbits and dogs.
Right. I think that a lot of mainstream game companies, as my friend Christopher Hartman from 2K Games demonstrates with this quote, is that they just don't give players enough credit.
Yeah, they think that we're all 5 years old or something.
They don't understand that
their main demographic is people between the ages of 18 and 35 right now.
Well, not even that. Just like, we have imaginations, you know. We're not We're smarter than the average bear.
Roar! Roar!
Hey, boo-boo! Back up. We gotta go after the picnic basket.
See, the thing that gets me is it's the 2K president that says this. I am playing a 2K game right now, and
Did they do Bioshock?
I don't know if they did Bioshock, but I'm playing Borderlands too. They make amazing characters in there. You care about them. You
and
feel
Borderlands
for
is
them.
definitely not
It's cel-shaded,
It's all cel-shaded.
Yeah, it's cel-shaded, and so I mean, like the company.
It's like he doesn't even know what he's doing.
Yeah, his company made a game that is a perfect example of emotional gaming, and I'd be very surprised if Chris Hartman was listening to our B movie podcast to find his video game.
Yeah,
news.
getting his video game fix on through the bcast.
I hope he writes to us and tells us stuff and be like, "Dude, you're an idiot."
If he did, I would be like, Chris, you're stupid. Here's a good list of examples.
Dude, and did you know that there was a really neat article about how closer things get to photorealism without actually being real, the creepier it gets, and the less people actually like it. Like with that movie, Mars Needs Moms, it didn't do well at all in theaters because people who watched it actually got sick to their stomach because it was likened to watching corpses walk around on the screen.
Yeah, that is really weird.
Yeah. So a lot of people did not like it.
Yeah.
Because
it
was like corpses walking around on the screen.
That is really weird.
It's like the Dead Eyes thing. They had the same reaction on Polar Express.
Oh yeah, Polar Express didn't do well for the same reason.
Never saw it.
I hated that story anyway, so I didn't watch it. But
It's
a Christmas movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like a disconnect in the eyes. Like you can, they seem like empty shells.
Yeah. Well, I really liked the first one. It was pretty tame.
I love the first Resident Evil.
Yeah,
they did a good job with it. They handled the tone, like the music. They handled the environment really well. Like, I wish I could go down and like just search through that entire Umbrella Corporation, bunker and.
But yeah, the newest one, like the story's dumb. The special effects are stupid. The acting's atrocious. Like Mila Jovovich is the only good actress in that movie, and everybody else is just like awful.
I like Mila Jovovich. Jehovah Witness.
Jehovah Witness. But yeah, no, she's cool. I like her. I liked her in The Fifth Element.
She has multipass.
Multipass. But the guy who plays Leon in the new movie, awful. It's so bad.
Yeah, I didn't.
Don't go see it. Just save yourself the trouble. Don't see it.
Speaking of bad sequels, the other night, yesterday actually, I caught a decent chunk of Starship Troopers 3.
Nice.
I haven't even seen the second one.
I haven't seen the first one.
The first one's actually really good.
I do. Yeah, I really like the first one.
But, alright, so the third one, the bugs, they look like 90s CG.
Didn't they like...
Awesome. Like Sci-Fi Channel?
No, worse than Sci-Fi Channel. Imagine...
Oh, man.
Okay, what was that show? Reboot?
Yeah!
That, they looked like that.
Oh, like that?
Wow.
Like the intro to 90s Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Wow.
It was so out of place in a live action setting. It was just painful to look at.
Awesome.
And for whatever reason, the lead guy from the first one was actually in the movie. I thought there was nobody left over, but that guy was still in there. I guess he had nothing else going on. The acting was terrible. They still had the kind of computer broadcast thing going on.
Yeah.
But those segments were terrible as well. Like, the computer voice wasn't even good. It was just... I mean, it just confirmed what I always thought. Why the hell would you make sequels to that movie? Like,
yeah. Like,
well,
didn't they solve
kind of like,
the
why
problem in
the hell would you
movie?
make a sequel to Terminator 2? It was fine.
Yeah.
The way it was. It ended. Why make another one?
Because Terminator 2 is the best movie ever. You know, I can honestly say I don't think I've seen any of the Alien movies all the way through.
I saw Prometheus Sunday.
I heard that movie.
How'd you like it?
I liked it. It was a good action flick. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was canon with the Alien series or anything, but
it's supposed to be like its own mythos, isn't it?
No, it's actually pretty canon. It's
like,
a prequel.
Yeah,
it's a prequel, but it's not a canon prequel.
Right. Which doesn't really make sense because it has, like, in the first Alien movie, the giant guy sitting in the chair with, like, his chest burst out. Like, that's in Prometheus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he's not in the chair when it busts out.
Yeah.
No.
It's not exactly the same.
Mm.
Or, well, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I didn't see Alien, so I don't know.
Inside of the pit.
My dad says it's pretty
Yeah, I liked it. There's a couple things that were like, at one point they were like, okay, we're going to this planet, but since you didn't come up with the funding and my company funded it, we're not going to try to make contact. And the very next scene, they're like, all right, we sent the message. If there's anybody down there, they should have probably responded by now.
Yeah.
So, if you're not going to try to make contact, why are you trying to make contact?
I don't know.
So, there's a couple things like that were just kind of like, what?
I thought it was a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked
it.
It was definitely entertainment worthy. I wouldn't say it's like the best movie ever or anything, though.
Brian Lee O'Malley is coming out with a new comic soon.
I know that he's redoing Scott Pilgrim in color.
He's not really. I guess he is kind of redoing it.
He's adding glasses to characters and whatnot.
Yeah, he's like going through. Well, he is. He's like going through and he's editing like things in the book and changing the art style of the older ones to match the art style of the newer ones and stuff, and trying to fix some of the frames to kind of like bring out more emotion and stuff. But he also has a new comic series coming out called Seconds, and it's going to be interesting. I don't exactly know what it's about, but he releases like pictures and stuff from on his Tumblr, and it looks like it'll be good.
He's a good guy. Did you read the one he did before Scott Pilgrim?
No, I need to though.
It's interesting. This girl thinks her soul is in this cat or something like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I need to check it out. Skyfall, the new James Bond movie. I'm actually excited about that.
Yeah, it looks really good. I like this guy's James Bond.
Yeah.
I didn't like the last one that he did.
Quantum of Solace? I liked it.
It wasn't as good as Casino Royale.
Well, the thing about Quantum of Solace and the thing with Skyfall and the thing that is starting to happen with Daniel Craig's James Bond movies is that they're becoming more action-oriented. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, previous Bond movies aren't action-oriented. Because, you know, you don't see Sean Connery in a car blowing up semis and stuff like that very often.
Oh, man, you know what was good that I didn't think would be good?
What?
I don't remember the name of it. Mission Impossible 4?
Oh, Ghost Protocol?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That doesn't surprise me. I like Mission Impossible.
I didn't like 3.
I didn't like 3 at all.
I
didn't really like 2 that much either.
I never saw 2.
The last one was pretty decent.
Huh. Was it a guy with a face changer the entire time?
No.
Oh, because that's what it is in all the other ones.
Yeah.
It turns out it was a bad guy with a different face.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Actually, I think I was going to buy that movie and I forgot all about it.
Ghost Protocol?
Yeah. It was good though.
You know what's a good movie that I need to get? Men in Black 3. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that yet.
I did see that.
That one was really good. Like, actually, I guess they're all really good. But
yeah.
I had my doubts because they were doing the whole, like, young Zed thing.
Uh-huh.
And, no, it's not Zed.
Young K.
K, alright, yeah. But, man, that guy nailed it. And the whole movie was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It had a twist.
It did have.
Well, don't say it because I haven't seen it yet.
There's a twist. It becomes really obvious at the end what it's going to be.
I mean, didn't Will Smith produce that movie?
Maybe.
I thought he did. Yeah.
No, it's definitely not a Shyamalan movie.
No, it's a
I would
Smith
have hated
movie,
it.
and Will Smith actually makes really good movies. Like, how did you guys feel about I Am Legend?
I liked it.
Okay. So I really liked I Am Legend.
It was good. It's actually based on a book, which was the Actually, it was like the original story of what I Am Legend. I think it's called Last Man on Earth.
Yeah.
It is the predecessor, in my opinion, to all zombie movies.
But yeah, I really liked I Am Legend.
It was not directed by Will Smith.
Wait, Jermaine's in it?
Hmm?
I fucking love Jermaine.
Jermaine?
Yeah, from Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because he kind of looks like you.
Well, no, that's not it at all. I fucking love Flight of the Conchords.
Life is like
have
a
you
roller tape.
Have you actually like watched the show?
I've watched bits of it.
Dude,
I've seen a couple episodes.
That show is brilliant. It's so good.
Sometimes it's hard to see.
And like the jokes and like a lot of the jokes that they have are really subtle, but they're so good. Like one of the jokes is I think it's the first episode actually. It's Sellotape right there, the third one. And he's talking about like a love triangle. And then he gets on the topic of Fleetwood Mac. He's like, oh yeah, Fleetwood Mac, he had like a little love triangle thing going on. Of course, you know, that's when they wrote some of their best music. And one of the guys in the band looks at the band manager. He's like, oh, Rumors, like in reference to the Fleetwood Mac album Rumors, which is like apparently their best one. And their band manager's like, nope, all true. It's just really subtle things like that. And then they had like an episode where they just keep like rattling off Top Gun references. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome. I highly recommend that you sit down and watch all of the episodes because they're all really funny.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I've seen like 2 or 3 of them, but they're really good.
You've read Scott Pilgrim, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say. For anybody who has not read Scott Pilgrim, go do it now if you need
It's
copies.
better than the movie.
Yeah, it's very much better than the movie, but if you need copies, send me an email.
If you don't know about Scott Pilgrim,
I'll put it in my Dropbox and I'll send you an invite.
Little tidbit of information, which is just my opinion. Kick-Ass, very good movie, not so great of a comic. Scott Pilgrim, very good comic.
Okay movie.
So opposite's true for those 2 series.
If you have, this is how I did it, and this is how I suggest a lot of people do it. If you have neither seen the movie or read the books, go watch the movie, like the movie, be like, oh yeah, it's a really good movie. Go read the books and be like, oh my god, these books are just fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed with the movie. I think we went and saw that movie together, and you hadn't read the books yet.
The first time I had seen that movie was with my ex-girlfriend, and she didn't like it at all, and I loved it, and she made fun of me for it, and I was like, I don't care. And then I went and saw it with my roommate, Ben.
Yeah, I saw it with you and Ben.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
That's right. And we all loved it because it was good.
Yeah, and at that point, I had already read the books, and I don't think you guys had read the books yet.
No, I don't even think Ben's read the books yet.
Wow.
I gave him the books.
And you were like, Mallory, what do you think about the movie? And I was like, and you were like, what's wrong with you?
And then I read the books, and I was like, I completely understand everything.
I was like, it's not like I didn't like the movie, it's just...
The books are better.
Did not live up to what I was expecting.
Right. My expectations were that.
They took out all the vegan jokes.
Chicken isn't vegan? No, they did take out a lot from... I feel like they could have made the movie longer.
Well, see, that's the thing. They would have had to make the movie longer. I like the movie a lot. I don't really feel like I like it. I don't know. I have no disappointment in the movie. I think it's amazing. I also love the comics. I read them first.
Kick-Ass 2 is coming out soon.
Why are they making a second one?
Because they're making a second comic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, comic's already out, I think.
Oh, well then, okay, they're completely justified in making a second movie.
Yeah. Hit Girl's got her own spin-off comic.
Does she?
Yes, it's called Hit Girl. And it's awesome. Huh.
Funny name.
And we found out last week that the chick who played Hit Girl is going to be in the new Carrie movie.
Which also has a leaked trailer, which I haven't watched yet.
Why are they remaking Carrie?
Because it's awesome.
Why are they remaking all these movies?
Because there's no original ideas.
Sinister was good. That was original.
There are millions of original ideas. People just
are lazy.
well, they're lazy and they're afraid to go outside the box. Like my friend Christopher Dickface from 2K Games, who is too afraid to not publish anything that's not a shooter.
God, I hate shooter games. Like, seriously, that's probably why I didn't play a whole lot of newer generation console games, because there's just no story in it. And I'm like, I could play Call of Duty, but I don't know why I'm fighting these people. You know? And
yeah.
It was awful, and shooters make me sick anyway.
I'm going to be completely honest. One of the main reasons why I bought my PlayStation 3 were for Gran Turismo 5 and Metal Gear Solid 4. Those are the main reasons why I bought them. And then I, discovered a few gems like Dragon Age and 3D Dot Hero games. Have you guys ever heard or seen of that game?
I have it.
You have it?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really like it's Zelda on PlayStation 3.
It's
like
fucking hard.
Yeah, I haven't beat it yet. It's like the top-down, like old school Nintendo Zelda for PlayStation 3. It's
cool.
Fucking awesome. It is such an underrated gem.
So what do you think about The Walking Dead?
I loved it. I think it's really interesting how it's so different from the comic, but it's so much the same like the comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it kind of goes along with like what they did with Scott Pilgrim, where they have the established material already, and then they made a show, but they've changed it and they've mixed it around, and made it its own identity. Like when they, spoiler alert, when they chopped off
at the end
Herschel's leg. In the comic book,
it was Alan.
It was Dale.
It was Alan first, and then he didn't live. He died.
And then they did it to
And then they did
Dale.
it to Dale, and he did all right.
He did all right because they got to it quick enough.
Yeah, Dale's dead, and there is no Alan, so they had to do it to somebody.
Right. The thing that kind of like confuses me though about that scene is like, how did Rick think to do that so quickly?
I think he'd probably been thinking about it for a while, because in the end of season 1, the guy already told him that everyone's infected, which he didn't realize until, in the comics, he didn't realize until they were well into the prison, and and Tyrese's kid shot herself.
Right. But the thing is, like, when he found out in the book that they were all infected, like, he sat down for a really long time and thought about it, and he was like, well, if we're already infected and we're already going to come back, what do the walker bites do? The walker bites are what kill us. And, like, depending on where you get bit, the effect of the fever takes longer or shorter to take effect, and blah, 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 before it kills you.
Yeah, and, it doesn't show that in the show, but
that's
also
why it
shows a huge passage of time where we don't know what happened.
Right.
So he probably had thought about it for a long time.
And I feel like that's the biggest weakness of this season premiere.
I think the biggest weakness is that nobody understood that SWAT gear, you can't stab through it.
Right. You're not going to beat a zombie's head in when he's got a fucking riot shield.
He's got a bullet mask. I'm going to shoot this crappy little Nerf arrow at him. Oh, it bounced off.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh no, how do we stab these guys? It's not
working.
I
do agree that was stupid. But, like, that was, of course, one of the downfalls of that episode. But I think the biggest downfall was, like, the lack of information that was passed on from, like, what had happened in between seasons.
Maybe they'll flash back in the rest of the season.
I'm sure that they will. It just doesn't do much to establish what's going on. Like...
Oh, you know what I want to know is where the hell were the street signs for this prison? Because I think it was like T-Dog or somebody, when they stopped on the road, they were like, we've been circling around all winter, the same area, and they didn't once see the prison.
Yeah,
when they were like less than 2 miles away from it at the end of season 2, and you could see it.
Yeah.
And seriously, there's a bunch of prisons around here. Not a bunch, but there's like 3 or 4 in, pretty close distance, and there's always a street sign saying, prison to your left.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they just went in like the opposite direction of the prison. But
and Rick's supposed to be a policeman. Shouldn't he have thought about, hey, there could be a security prison where there's fences and shit?
I don't know. I think he's got a little more on his mind. Like, I just killed my best friend, and my wife is a bitch.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that he was an asshole to her.
I loved her concerns about the baby like being dead and like clawing
Oh
its
yeah, the
way out of her.
stillborn thing.
She's like, what if it's dead?
Yeah,
and
that was
it
cool.
claws its way out of me.
Yeah, that was.
That would be
cool.
epic. I hope that happens.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, but I hope it does.
I really hope that this season they do a lot of things that were like in the book, and I kind of have hopes now that they've cut Herschel's leg off for you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For
the big event.
Awesomeness of the Woodbury incident.
Yeah, the Woodbury incident.
I'm very interested to see how they handled that whole scenario.
I am too, because the way that the previews have shown it is that like Andrea and Michonne are going to be in Woodbury for a while, so it's going to be interesting to see like what happens.
Yeah.
Well, like the whole Michonne thing in that particular, like, I just don't know how far they're going to be able to go on the show.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because it gets grisly.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. One of my friends was actually talking to me about that, like after they revealed Michonne in the season 2 finale. The things that happened, like me and my friend were talking about it, and we were like, "There's no way they can show what they showed in a comic on TV. It's so visceral and gruesome and bad."
Yeah. See, stuff like that makes me wish they had Walking Dead on like Showtime or HBO.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I necessarily need it to go that far, but I don't think they should.
Yeah. However, they have shown some pretty gross things on that show and Do you watch Breaking Bad at all?
Yeah,
They've shown some pretty visceral stuff on Breaking Bad too.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
That's it for this week. Next week we'll be talking about
something else.
Yeah.
Something else. Happy Halloween.